importantly, you would see Medulla as a key resource for you as you begin to take the right step into this journey. So we'll just dive right into it. Today we're talking about career paths in cybersecurity. What are the opportunities? What are the roles? And potential certifications that you could undertake. Some of them are free. Some of them are sponsored by guys like Google Online. Some of them you've got to pay for it. And yeah, so let's dive in. So when we talk about cybersecurity, what is cybersecurity? Essentially, I broke it down into three core sectors or three core main areas, right? Um, Cybersecurity, when you look at the word, it's two words there, cyber and security. When you talk about cyber, everybody knows what cyber is. Cyber cafe brings to mind where we go do browsing, access information online, security, protecting assets, protecting information, because in this current day and time, all sorts of bad actors are looking for ways to access information that they shouldn't have access to through improper channels. So, as a cybersecurity personnel or as a cybersecurity person, these are some of the key areas that you might find yourself playing in. Number one, it entails protection of systems, networks, and data from cyber threats. Systems, you're talking about your software systems, talking about hardware systems, talking about online systems, offline systems, networks, the pathway through information goes through. There are all sorts of attacks that could come in the middle, man in the middle attack, from the source attack that could, at the end of the day, impact the veracity of data really, and protecting data itself. I'm sure that everybody on this call has some form of data that. Hey, Ray, from watching Banku.
I've muted it. Please proceed.
Yo, you guys are chilling back in Ghana, man. Okay. All right.
I know you miss it. Please go ahead.
Yeah, bro. Okay, all right. So yeah, let me go back to where I was. So protecting data. So I was just saying that every one of us here, we have all kinds of data, from your financial data to your healthcare data, which is very, very important. Individuals have all kinds of healthcare information that they do not want access to the public. Sales data. Just recently, a few weeks ago, M&S, one of the biggest e-commerce sites, and Co-op, these guys, they had a big breach in their systems. And when this happened, you can imagine a big brand like M&S, they had to shut down, most of their system, most of their operations. Usually what happens in situations like this, once there's a breach, you see, I mean, there's usually two types of organizations when there's a breach: those who were prepared and those who were not prepared. And maybe in the middle there we have those who were on the path to being prepared. So in the case of M&S, they had like a mobile application, sort of like an e-commerce site, like Jumia and Amazon and eBay. They had to pause and shut an operation on their mobile shopping site. They had to tell some staff not to come to work because the full system that they were using was not available. So there was no point having most of the staff coming to the office. So it was a big disruption that M&S had. And this is where it is key for organizations and institutions to be ready. And the truth of the matter is, oftentimes, you can't be, no matter how much preparation you have, you can't really be so ready. These bad actors, they're always looking for ways, avenues to poke holes into your readiness or into the system that you've put in place. The other part of cybersecurity is that it is core to businesses, like I just mentioned, M&S, governments, and individuals. With governments, governments, they deal with all kinds of information, information of citizens, information of other governments, information of government employees. So all these are critical information that needs to be protected. And the last point there is there's a big demand for worldwide, there's a rise in cybercrime, right? So with this rise in cybercrime and cyber penetration, there's also an equally high demand for cybersecurity personnel who it's their job to implement systems that would protect this information. So these are some of the the key sectors that cybersecurity comes into play. So why cybersecurity? Every day you hear of cybersecurity. I mean, it used to be years ago, companies would use offline methods to protect data, like locking data in file, in cupboards, in safes. But with the advent of the internet, everything is moving online. Information is exchanged online. Millions of information is exchanged online. So there would always be a bad actor. I mean, I've done numerous case studies of employees who have left the company. They were angry at what happened, and they plot something. One of the case studies I had was where a disgruntled employee who was sacked put together a very devious plan to hack the company. And how did he do it? Before he left, nobody knew that he was dating the receptionist. And when he because usually with cybersecurity, there always would be a way in. So this gentleman's way in was through the relationship he had with the secretary and, helping him get all kinds of access. He went in and did what he needed to do. And, they had access, unauthorized access to information. So why cybersecurity is one of the high paying jobs you can find around, even from an entry level, from a low level you get a decent pay. On average in the UK here, at least you get in from 35, 40,000 pounds per year as an entry level cybersecurity person. Cybersecurity is also, it cuts across various industries. Like I mentioned, finance, right? For example, most of you right now, you work, I mean, if not everybody on the call, each and every one of us, we work with various companies. There's all kinds of information from finance, payment information, investments information from the company, IP that the company has. All this information are things that the company would not want somebody to get access to without authorization. Also cuts across healthcare, which I previously mentioned. I mean, the healthcare bit is a very critical bit of cybersecurity. I remember I think last year, the NHS had a cyber breach where the blood bank, so like blood bank where individuals the blood types and everything, there was a breach. So we had a situation where all kinds of information about people's personal blood information or blood types, genotypes, everything was just put online, and it was also a big issue that forced the NHS to make certain kinds of changes. Cybersecurity is also key in the tech sector. Just imagine most of the financial apps you're using in Ghana. I know we have a lot of fintech app, Express Pay, GH, the GH1, and most of this SMSGH, most of this tech guys. So you can imagine your credit card information that you put into this app. You can imagine it being leaked online with your CVV code. So anything can literally happen. It's a dynamic field and that's always evolving. Really, of course, there's certain solutions that will work for various scenarios, but oftentimes you most likely have to tailor specific solutions to specific needs or to specific challenges. So it's always an evolving field where you always need to learn, you need to gain more knowledge. And Ephraim on the call here, I don't know those of you who know Ephraim, or I'm sure Ray knows Ephraim as well. Ephraim is one of the professionals in cybersecurity. It has made it a point to always upskill himself. So you can, after this meeting, you can take a quick dive into LinkedIn and you can see the pile up of certificates that Ephraim has amassed within the past few months. So it's a very commendable thing that he's doing. And then, finally, remote opportunities. In recent times, um, not everybody wants to be in the office Monday to Friday, right? In recent times, there's been this hybrid mode of working where you're working from home 3 days a week and then you go into the office 2 days a week. In cybersecurity, it's a prominent way of working. Oftentimes, you're not needed in the office, right? you're at home, you have your system, you have access to the software system the company use, you're configuring information, you're tweaking things here and there. So for those of you who do not like going to the office, want to save on transportation, you want to be a stay-at-home mom or dad, cybersecurity is a very good place for you to get a lot of remote opportunities. Because with cybersecurity, it's not all about your physical presence; it's about the skill set you have. And with in recent times as well, with all kinds of software skills, you don't need to be in the office. Case in point, software developers, right? As long as you know how to code a page, as long as you know how to connect systems, you don't need to be in the office, right? All you need to do is open your PC, log in the time. The business expects you to clock in at 9 o'clock. Usually they would have systems tracking when you go in and when you go off. So, once you are able to have your skills at hand, you can work remotely. So it's a very, I mean, that's, as a matter of fact, the remote opportunities is one of the key reasons that most people go into cybersecurity, because you have that flexibility to have a hybrid, work structure, and it gives you time to do other things apart from going to the office physically. So, I highlighted some key areas in cybersecurity. Earlier mentioned network security, information moving from point A to point B. Those access points need to be secure. Cloud security. Some of you are very familiar with Google Drive, Microsoft Drive, Amazon Cloud Drive. Is the new way of doing things right now. Instead of having physical hardware systems, information is all backed up into the cloud. So as long as there's information, as long as there is data somewhere, there would always be somebody looking to take advantage to gain unauthorized access. Application security, I think I mentioned most of it, but I'm just going to run through. I previously mentioned the softwares that we all use. Unauthorized access could be very, very detrimental to the lifeblood of any company. So it is very, very critical that these applications are secure. And you would notice, I'm not sure the amount of companies in our part of the world, Ghana, Nigeria, Africa, that implement a forced password change. Where I work, every 3 months, the system automatically pops up a reminder that you have to change your password. If you do not change your password after a 3 months period, you're automatically logged out of the system. The next time you come in, you must change your password to a new password. So those are some of the